The sun burned high over the Corsican mountains, scattering its light across the rocky fields where wild thyme and scrub grew thick. In this rugged land lived Mateo Falcone, a man respected and feared for his courage, wealth, and unbending sense of honor. His house stood alone between the maquis-covered hills, far from the nearest village, surrounded by silence and the constant whisper of the wind. Mateo was known as a man of his word. When he spoke, no one doubted him. When he took up his gun, few dared cross his path. On one quiet morning, Mateo decided to visit a flock of goats grazing several miles away. His wife, Giuseppa, stayed behind to manage the house. Their 10-year-old son, Fortunato, remained at home. He was a bright, proud boy, already showing the sharp eyes and steady hands of a future hunter. Mateo trusted him. Before leaving, he told Giuseppa, "Keep an eye on the boy. I'll be back before midday." With that, he slung his rifle across his shoulder and walked into the hills. The house fell silent. Giuseppa began her chores while Fortunato sat in the doorway, carving a piece of wood and watching the dusty road below. Time passed slowly until the stillness broke with the sound of stumbling footsteps. Out of the thicket emerged a man, tall, rough, his clothes torn and face streaked with sweat and blood. He carried a musket but limped heavily. Fortunato recognized him at once, Gianetto Sanpiero, a local bandit with a price on his head. "Fortunato," gasped Gianetto, leaning against the wall, "your father is a friend of mine. The soldiers are after me. Hide me, I'm wounded." The boy hesitated. "Father isn't home," he said. "No matter," Gianetto urged. "You'll do, you're a Falcone." Those words carried weight. To be a Falcone was to protect a man who sought your roof, whatever his crime. Fortunato nodded slowly. He pointed to a pile of hay in the stable. "Hide there." Gianetto crawled beneath it, covering himself as best he could. A few moments later, the sound of boots echoed up the trail. A patrol of soldiers appeared, led by Sergeant Gamba, Mateo's distant cousin. Gamba was young, proud of his uniform, and carried himself with the confidence of authority. He greeted the boy with a nod. "Fortunato, have you seen a man pass this way? A tall fellow, wounded, carrying a musket?" Fortunato looked straight at him. "I haven't seen anyone." Gamba studied the boy's calm expression. "You're Mateo's son, aren't you? Then you'll help us find him. This bandit's a murderer. If he escapes, your father won't like it." Fortunato remained silent. Gamba ordered his men to search the area. They looked behind rocks, under carts, and around the shed, but they found nothing. Gamba returned, frowning. "He's close. I know it." He crouched down to Fortunato's level. "Listen, boy. Tell me where he is, and I'll give you this." He held out a shiny silver coin. Fortunato's eyes flickered. The coin gleamed in the sunlight. He hesitated but shook his head. "I don't know anything." Gamba pressed further. "Don't lie to me, you're a smart boy. You like sweets, don't you? If you help me, I'll give you a whole bag when we reach town." Fortunato's lips tightened. The offer tempted him, but the name Falcone burned in his mind. "I can't tell you," he whispered. The soldiers continued their search, overturning piles of wood and hay. As one of them approached the stable, Gianetto coughed under the hay. Gamba turned sharply. "What was that?" Fortunato froze. The sergeant stepped closer, suspicious. He turned to the boy once more. "Last chance. Tell me where he's hiding. This coin is yours." Fortunato's small hand trembled. His heart pounded. The image of his father's stern face flashed before him, but the glitter of silver drew his eyes again. He swallowed. Slowly, he pointed toward the haystack. Gamba's smile returned. He motioned for his men to move. They pulled aside the hay, revealing the wounded Gianetto. The bandit cursed, struggling to rise, but the soldiers were faster. They dragged him out and tied his hands. "You little devil," Gianetto spat, glaring at the boy. "You've betrayed a friend of your father. You'll pay for this." Fortunato turned pale. Gamba pocketed the coin and looked at the boy with amusement. "Here, you earned this," he said, tossing it to him. The boy caught it, but didn't smile. The soldiers marched the prisoner away, their boots thudding down the rocky path until the sound faded. The silence returned, heavy and suffocating. Fortunato slipped the coin into his pocket and sat down. Giuseppa, who had seen everything from the doorway, said nothing. Her face was pale. She went back inside, her eyes full of dread. An hour later, Mateo Falcone returned. He carried a small goat over his shoulders and looked pleased with the morning's work. But the moment he saw Giuseppa's face, his smile faded. "What happened?" he asked. She hesitated. "The soldiers came," she said quietly. "They were looking for Gianetto Sanpiero." "Did they find him?" Mateo asked, frowning. "They found him here," she replied, her voice trembling. Mateo's eyes hardened. "And Fortunato?" The boy stepped forward, pale and trembling. "Father." Mateo's gaze fell on the silver coin glinting in his son's hand. His face darkened. "Where did you get that?" Fortunato's lips moved, but no sound came. Giuseppa began to cry. Mateo turned away, his voice low and controlled. "So, my son sold a man who trusted us. My son betrayed the name Falcone for a handful of silver." The boy dropped the coin and began to weep. "I didn't mean to, Father. They tricked me. I was afraid." Mateo said nothing. He walked into the house, took down his rifle from the wall, and stepped back outside. His eyes were calm but cold. "Giuseppa," he said quietly, "go inside." She hesitated, then covered her face and entered the house, weeping softly. Mateo motioned to Fortunato. "Come with me." They walked together into the fields, where the wild grass bent under the wind. Fortunato stumbled behind, crying and begging for forgiveness. "Father, I'll never do it again. Please don't be angry." Mateo stopped by a small clearing. He placed his hand on the boy's shoulder. "You're a Falcone," he said. "A man's name is worth more than his life. I can't let it be said that a Falcone betrayed a guest." Fortunato's sobs grew louder. "Please, Father, I swear I'll be good." Mateo raised his rifle and made the sign of the cross. "God forgive you, my son." The shot rang out, echoing through the hills. Birds scattered into the sky. When Mateo returned home, Giuseppa was kneeling by the doorway, trembling. She looked up, her face white. "Where is he?" Mateo set his rifle down slowly. "He's gone to heaven," he said. Giuseppa covered her face and wept. Mateo sat beside her in silence, his eyes fixed on the empty hills. The wind swept through the valley, carrying with it the faint echo of that single shot. A father's judgment, a son's mistake, and the unbending law of honor that ruled the land of Corsica. In the end, Mateo Falcone stands as more than a man. It is the idea of honor taken to its final limit. His choice destroys his family, but preserves his name. The mountains fall silent again, and the wind carries the echo of his judgment. Through one tragic act, Prosper Mérimée shows how the codes of pride and loyalty can make justice and cruelty indistinguishable. The story leaves a single question burning in the reader's mind. When honor demands blood, who truly stands righteous? The Father, the Son, or the law itself? In the end, Mateo Falcone stands as more than a man. It is the idea of honor taken to its final limit. His choice destroys his family, but preserves his name. The mountains fall silent again, and the wind carries the echo of his judgment. Through one tragic act, Prosper Mérimée shows how the codes of pride and loyalty can make justice and cruelty indistinguishable. The story leaves a single question burning in the reader's mind. When honor demands blood, who truly stands righteous? The Father, the Son, or the law itself?